office with Joseph Skoda. Guess where my office is today? Right. I don't get to Vegas a lot. I get here every 6, 7 weeks or so. Used to be every month. Then the pandemic hit, a lot of things going on. But I love when I come to Vegas. We just finished a quarterly meeting with some of our newest talent and a lot of great people going out there. We had singers and actors and comedians and people that thought they were comedians. We had it all. It was so much fun. And I loved it so much. And one of the guys I met him probably 6, 7 months ago, last time I was here, is Mr. Brian Gardner. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, very good.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me on.
You know what got me? I know you're a singer. I know you're an author. I know you're one hell of a funny guy. It's a Toastmaster that interested me.
Yeah, it's an incredible organization. And the minute I heard you were a Toastmaster, I felt like you were my brother because Toastmaster I write about this in my book. It's the best way if you want to talk and promote whatever product or issue that you have. Toastmaster gets you up to speed on that.
It gets you up to speed on that.
Yeah.
I often talk about, I retired from the Air Force after 21 years. I have too many degrees to count. It doesn't matter anymore. But I never developed that self-confidence. And Toastmasters helped me be a host of a show. It's helped me speak in front of huge audiences. It's helped me be comfortable talking to like big stars like you, for instance. And that's all exciting. I want to know a little bit, before we get into your book, and I know Plan for America and the World, this is huge. We'll talk about this shortly. I want to know a little bit more about your background, where you're coming from, and what got you into music.
Well, born in Oakland, California.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes I am, but it's still my hometown.
Sure.
And some people will think I'm dating myself, and I don't really care. But there was a catalog you could look at called Montgomery Ward.
I remember that catalog. Oh, never mind.
You're not supposed to say that. So I was looking through it one day, just looking for toys or something, and I saw a drum set in there, and it was like I had to get that drum set. It was $69 for a snare drum and I think a couple of sticks or something. So I ordered it, and because I had a little money from something.
That's a lot of money back then.
My dad said, "I have never spent $69 on it." I said, "Dad, nothing cost $69." When you were a kid, he didn't like that answer. So it was champagne pearl was the color.
Really? Wow, I know that.
So I kept ordering more drums, and then this real bass player came to my house. He goes, "This is your crappy drum set." Now, from my viewpoint, that was the only drum set I ever had heard. Sure. He goes, "We're going to the music store." I said, "Why should I go? All the snares are going to sound the same." So we go to the music store, and he goes, "Play that snare." And I go, "Here we go. It's going to sound just like mine."
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. That thing sounded like an orchestra because I had a very crappy drum set.
You do then.
I worked all summer and got myself a professional Ludwig set. But it was such a funny dichotomy to, and it taught me, well, you got to be open to stuff,
Right.
Yeah. So and then I played music and all kinds of bands, and I was lucky enough to be in bands where guys were not into drugs. So basically, the bands got a lot of work because we could get there on time,
Wow.
And then to wrap up the story of how I got to be a songwriter, I was in a band where I was the only one with any money, so I bought the 12-string guitar that this teacher was selling at an incredible low price. And then when the band broke up a few years later, they go, "Here's your guitar, see you later." And so I go, and I started fooling around.
Sure.
Fell in love with the whole process of songwriting. And so I've been a performer for over 50 years.
That must mean you're up there.
850
years old. Now, drums. We hear about, I played the flute. I played French horn, actually, in high school, which was really noisy and big. And we know guitar playing. If you sound good, it's great. They love it. Playing the drums as a youngster in your household, practicing on what you thought was a great drum set, how did your family react to that?
They said, "We're going shopping. You have 2 hours to practice on your drums." We're going grocery shopping.
Oh my goodness!
Because they didn't have today. Electronic drum sets are but this loud, and in your headset you have these beautiful sounding drums. In those days, it was an acoustic drum set. It was loud, and you sounded like crap. So I just got through it, and then eventually we rehearsed elsewhere. But my parents were very supportive, you know.
Really?
Yeah, very supportive.
That's pretty good.
Except for my dad. He didn't really like
He wasn't into it so much?
No, he didn't,
Yeah, I've never been a good drummer or good guitar player or anything. I've tried everything, of course, and I've done a roadie, and I know about hooking up sound. And boy, you guys can be arrogant if the things aren't hooked up right.
That's right. But you reminded me of a funny story. So my dad never liked the rock and roll, but he was a scout leader, and he would have kids come to give them their tests for their merit badges.
Sure.
And I was in a band called Mogul. And so he calls up this young kid. He says, "You got to come by Friday night so I can check you out for your merit badge." And he goes, "Oh, Mr. Gardner, I can't. I have to go see the Mogul band." And my dad goes, "Yeah, that's my son's band." Yeah.
Dad loved you then, didn't he?
Whole different viewpoint, you know.
What did I mean? I don't know. Did you get right into band and songwriting like right out of high school, or did you do something?
No,
else?
I wasn't. I was 18 until I got my first drum set. Kind of late, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I was very lucky. Creedence was the hot music,
Oh,
and I could do
CCR.
this the first week. I see a bad moon rise. I could fake it for a while. You know, if it would have been Jimi Hendrix, they would have said, "You're a crappy drummer, out of here."
Go. CCR's pretty mellow for
It's the same beat in every song,
Every
practically.
and there'll always be top singers all the time.
You know, the other thing I can do you remember the song? I'm just mad about South. I could play that.
Oh, yes,
I could play that
yes.
as well.
Oh my goodness, that was pretty exciting. And you did all this in Oakland at the time?
Now I moved to Pleasant. My parents moved to Pleasant, so it was kind of
Pleasant,
east,
okay, sure.
east of the Bay Area.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm familiar with Pleasant and Placerville and some of those
some
other
of those
areas out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Pretty
So it was
exciting
out there
time.
where I started.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. So why did you start writing? You said you the 12-string guitar. I'm very familiar with
I
that
had-
guitar.
yeah.
I can't play it, but I know exactly what it is and what it looks like.
I had this beautiful Martin guitar, and I couldn't even play chords, but you know, I sat there for hours watching them rehearse while I
Yeah.
was waiting to do my drum part, you know. So I kind of picked up on some chords, and the
Yeah.
thing sounded beautiful, so I just kind of noodled around with it, and then started writing songs and just got bitten by that songwriting bug.
Really? Wow.
There's something about that process that I love.
So for 40 or 50 years, you've been writing and performing.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty
Written
exciting.
about 50 songs or so.
Yeah.
And some of them, you know, when I was broken up with somebody, of course, you write those kind of songs.
A lot of songs can relate to that.
And some of them are songs for, you know, encouraging people, because I've always been somebody that kind of steered toward community work. So I have some songs that empower people
Sure.
to take some responsibility, you know, and that sort of thing, you know.
That's a big deal because a lot of us, and we heard earlier today that the country singer is like, this isn't about a dog or breakup or
the
down in your
yeah.
dumps. It was real heartfelt when he was singing with us.
Beautiful music.
And you had us all singing along and laughing and having a good time with you. Actually, he called someone from the audience who's never been here before or done it. And she's a performer, but she's like, "What do you need? What do you want me? What do I need to do?" And she was right there on key. And that was pretty exciting.
Some guitarists might say that I'm more of a performer with the guitar on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know most of the chords, but I would.
Most ain't bad.
Yeah, I would much prefer
Yeah.
playing as good as I can and creating emotional impact on the audience. Having
Wow.
fun, maybe getting a little emotional if I play a mellow song
Yeah.
and they remember a time in their life when something happened. That's what I love to do. I love to have them forget about their troubles for a while.
That kind of relates to Toastmasters.
It does.
Is getting people, and I learned how to become a motivational speaker and
Right.
inspire others by telling their stories.
I never miss a Toastmasters meeting. I love it.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
so shy.
I'm so shy. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing here and all those other crazy things.
Yeah.
Now, I want to twist it around a little bit
Sure.
because obviously we have your book here.
Sure.
And your book, Plan for America and the World.
Right.
And you talked a little bit about it tonight with
Yeah.
different things that really touched me a bit. But I want to talk a little bit about what I know. Like on the prelogue, for instance, one of my favorites, John F. Kennedy.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
ask what country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country.
Right.
That's so true, even today. And obviously, we have issues and political problems and
Sure.
unrest in all aspects, not just in our country, but across the world.
Right.
But tell me a little bit, what does that mean to you?
Well, the way the book got written is I was feeling pretty good in my life. I sorted out a lot of things, and I wanted to try to help out. And I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I should go into politics. I looked at my age. I looked at the fact that it costs $50 million to be a U.S. Senator. And I knew I would have to do a deal with the devil.
Pretty much
And
so.
I'd go into Washington.
Yeah?
Let's say Washington was whatever color
Sure.
of paint.
Sure.
And I'd go in as one drop of an alternate color. And I'd go in looking good. And pretty soon,
Spread out, lose who you are.
yeah. So I said, I know what I'll do. Or write a book, because then I can say what I want. And the whole idea of the book
Yeah.
is to not only empower people, but to educate, motivate, and activate them
Wow.
into taking some responsibility. Because here's the thing. If you live in a country where there is a dictator,
Sure.
you just go about your business. You don't really do anything. In a free country,
Yeah.
you have to take some amount of action. Otherwise, somebody is chipping away at those freedoms constantly.
We
So
get
that's what my book is about.
You get a lot of outsiders, immigrants coming to our
Sure,
country
sure.
because I believe a lot of them are more successful. Not all. Today's a little different story, but a lot are more successful because they get that motivation, that energy. They
Right.
want more
Right.
because they lived in a country they didn't have more. They did not have opportunity. They could not achieve those goals and dreams.
Right.
So
You see, if you give people things continually and there is no way that they can exchange or feel like they're earning that,
Sure.
you kind of destroy them from within. You destroy
Destroy
their initiative. And although welfare is there to help people,
sure.
it should be welfare and job training, and you get those people to the point where they get a job that they love and they look back at their life, gosh, the government helped me, they put me in job training,
Say thank
and
you.
now look, I have a nice car, a house, I have a couple of
Yeah.
kids, and I'm doing it myself.
Do it myself.
And I want to
Thank
live
you.
in a country where we are having people like that who are going, I'm doing it myself. I am making my way.
Wow.
And that means you got to lower taxes,
Sure.
and you got to lower the cost that it takes to run for office. And here's an important part of my book. Let's go back to the dinosaur age. The dinosaurs, when the meteor hit Earth, could not go, hey, Charlie, we should invent a heater. It's getting kind of cold around here,
Right.
Every species reaches a point where if it doesn't take its next evolutionary step, it perishes.
Charles Darwin.
Guess what I believe our next evolutionary step is? Ethics. You can't have a camera on every chemical company, because at midnight, if they're not ethical, they will pour the crap in the river. But
Yep.
if they're ethical, they'll say, no, I know I could save $50,000. Charlie, we're not doing it. Yeah, but boss, no one will know. No.
You can split
We're
it.
not doing that. We're going to find another way. And that's when this world will make it. And so I'm trying to help out with that.
Now I read your book briefly, and I kind of agree with you. I'm not talking about a lot right now. The global warming hoax, for
Sure,
instance. And a lot of us, I think anyone with anything up here would think it's a hoax.
Right.
But talk to you a little bit about how you feel and how you came to that conclusion.
I did the research that anybody could do,
Mhm.
and here is how the public is tricked. When you see higher land temperatures, people think, oh, the planet's warming. That is absolutely false. The reason the land areas are getting hotter is because we are not receiving the sunlight we should. Water is not being evaporated from the oceans and the lakes,
Sure.
causing cloud cover and rainfall, which cools the
Cool
land.
down the land.
Cooling planets have drought.
Sure.
Warming planets are like a lush vegetation in the equatorial area.
Sure.
So you take a look at California, horrible drought conditions
It is.
because we are in about the 11,000th year of what is called an interglacial. The Earth has a tilt and a wobble problem. It results in eventually ice ages happening again.
Sure.
So as you move closer to that, we don't get the amount of sunlight. The water does not get evaporated. We don't have rainfall. We don't have cloud cover. The land areas get hotter, and people think, oh, it's warming. No. And the other thing that I think is the reason this is being pushed, at about the point when global warming was being pushed, advances were made in fusion power, which is not fission. Fusion power is taking the hydrogen out of water. And let me tell you who's afraid of that: the banks and the oil companies. Because if a small African country with oceanfront property had a workable fusion reactor, they would draw the ocean water out, desalinate it. They would be able to make enough crops to feed their people. There would be no shortage of water. They would have unlimited power. They tell the banks and the oil companies, we don't need you.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Right now, the banks and the oil companies are trying to get almost every country owing them tremendous amounts of money as a control factor.
I've got an issue. I'm glad
Sure.
you brought that up. I was going to talk about that desalination, for instance.
Yeah.
Because when you take the salt out of the water, obviously it is drinkable. We can take a bath and cook it
And irrigate
and
crops.
give our plants.
Yeah.
What about all that salt that's left over?
Well, we always need salt for industry and for food and processing. So you either will put that salt someplace where it can't pollute something, or use it instead of digging up the salt and causing environmental problems from tearing up the land to get the salt.
Well, that's a good point. In my mind, and I'm just thinking big piles of salt that will never go used, because it's almost like any fossil fuel or something.
Yeah.
What do you think about oil dependency from other countries? Is it a big deal?
The thing
Personal opinion. That's all.
Yeah, my personal opinion is I want to know that this country has oil reserves.
Sure.
So that another country can't say the United States is out of oil. If you want the oil, you know.
Maybe.
Yeah. And that's why it's so dangerous for certain countries to say that they have an atomic weapon. Because if they are unethical, they'll say, you know, I have an atomic weapon. Either pay me $40 trillion, otherwise I'm going to let this thing
like
loose.
Then, Austin Powers?
Yeah, then we're in trouble because we can't let them throw that thing around. You have to understand a concept. You drop a World War II atom bomb, a World War II bomb.
Okay.
The dust goes all over, and then the dust settles, and you can go right in and eat off the table. You drop an atomic weapon, and the water, and the dust, and the table, and the tablecloth, and the curtains,
doesn't go well.
Radioactive.
Yep.
You know, so they are such dangerous weapons because they do not end when the explosion ends.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about, we talked about oil, we talked about water and desalination, we talked about dependency on other countries.
Yeah.
Why did you write this book? Tell us a little bit more about it.
I wrote the book because, and I started like anybody, I'm going to sell the books and get some money. No,
sure, of course.
Now I tend to give away more books than I write because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to educate, get people to know what are we up against. Sure. If you go to lift up a suitcase and you know it weighs 200 pounds, you're going to use both hands, right?
I would.
Okay.
Maybe three hands.
Yeah, right. If you pick up a suitcase and it's too heavy and you jerk it up and the handle breaks off, that would be like us not knowing what we're up against and taking too small of actions, and then we wake up and our freedoms and liberties are gone. So I want to educate people. Then I've got to motivate them to take some responsibility, activate them by giving them things they can actually do.
Sure.
And that's really why I wrote the book, because all of us owe a little bit of responsibility toward the condition the world is in. I know some people are out of work, and I know they're having difficulty paying rent.
Sure.
But in a free society, whatever you can do, and I tell people, do not let me catch you saying, all I did was man a table with some anti-drug booklets from, Drug-Free World, and that's a good organization I help, and they have these wonderful booklets. What if one kid picks up that booklet and he never gets on drugs and becomes a wonderful community leader.
It's huge.
Anything that a person can do, small or large actions, are important. You know about Rosa Parks.
I absolutely.
You know, she said
in front of the bus. That's enough.
She said, "I'm
too
tired. Go ahead and arrest me. I'm not getting up." Okay.
That's it. That's all over. And sometimes we have to hit rock bottom or be humble or lose our initiative, whatever causes that, to make a difference.
But the other thing is people that say, "Gosh, you know, Brian's talking about the Rockefellers and the bankers and the oil companies. What can I do?" Do you know that there are nonprofits in every city clamoring for people to stuff envelopes, man booths, answer the phones?
I've got one. Call me. I have a nonprofit. It's right up there.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
I do.
People, you know, just, gosh, I started this campaign, the 1 hour a week campaign for community betterment.
Okay.
Just do 1 hour a week of something. You can walk a half an hour away from your home picking up trash, walk a half an hour back a different route.
And you made a difference.
Can you imagine if 350 million people did 1 hour a week, 350 million hours of community service? The country wouldn't even look the same.
I would love to see some people that could earn their welfare that way or their unemployment that way.
Well, I don't also believe in heavy jail sentences.
Nope.
Why sit them in jail and they're sitting there rotting away? Okay, you're going to be in jail for 6 months, then you're going to do 2 years of community service. Because guess what? During those 2 years, we don't pay their dental, their food, and they're contributing to the society, and it actually helps to rehabilitate them.
And they're learning quick.
What if some kid runs up to them after a year and a half of doing community service work? This guy, you know, embezzled money, let's say. He was in jail for 6 months.
Sure.
Now he's working on his 2 years of community service. Right. And some little kid runs up and says, "Mister, thank you for helping paint my school because that's going to change that individual. It's going to change that individual. He's going to go, wow, I made a difference. And that's way better than him sitting in jail learning to be a better criminal.
It's way better. and even afraid to get out because his days are numbered, he's a target on his back. You know, we're out of prison.
This is what the Crimenon organization does. They have a specific set of guidelines to really get the guy rehabilitated, not have him, you know, you're not so wrong. Oh, you're horrible because you made all that doesn't.
We've all made mistakes.
Right.
Some a little too much.
Yeah, but that's my viewpoint on that whole aspect. You know, because the taxpayers shouldn't be on the hook for all of that for 20 years, right? No. What if he was in jail for 2 years and 18 years he did community service work? How could that be bad for the community?
It's a good thing. And he feels good. He has a purpose. He's giving back. Yeah. He's given a second chance.
Right.
Or she.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. So that's important. You do music. You have a purpose for doing that.
Yeah.
You wrote this book. You've obviously talked to us about your purpose. We talked a little bit about Toastmasters. Yeah. That's my purpose.
Yeah.
What's your purpose from here forward? What do you want to do with the rest of your life, or how do you want to make a real difference? And this will make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
What's your main purpose and goal?
My main purpose is to,
besides becoming president or Congress or something, what else?
No.
Which you might lose your hair with that job.
Wait a minute.
You're halfway there.
My purpose, you take away everything I own, all the guitars, and you say you're still going to have food, you're still going to have a place to live. I want to know on my last day of life in this lifetime, because I do believe in reincarnation. Yeah. Last day of life in this life, I want to know that my life made a difference, a positive difference in this world. Doesn't have to be that I fixed everything, but I want to know that is my underlying purpose. I want to know that the actions I took did help out. And I don't look at that as better than anybody else. You know, that's just my purpose.
I like what you just said. You don't have to fix everything.
No.
You don't have to change everyone's life.
No.
You don't have to reinvent something. What if you could think of one small thing. I mean, everyone, recycle would be one of my biggies.
Yeah.
If you could think of one small thing that would like to be on your tombstone, what would you like it to say?
That. Well, I'm gonna get.
Well, you need a big tombstone, of course.
No. I'm gonna get cremated, but
yeah, okay.
Okay, so on my cremation urn, okay.
Okay. The big one. It's got all these words of wisdom you're gonna share.
No. It's gonna say he was a man, a real good man, trying to make things better the best that he could, and he did. Yeah.
Can't ask for more than that. Well, I want to thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you for having me on the show and allowing me to share this.
Are you kidding? We're in Vegas, baby.
Well,
yeah.
You know, these words some kid might say, yeah, I want to make a difference too. And that would be like, I don't need any more Christmas presents forever.
No, I've got, in my mind, we're talking about educate, we're talking about motivate, activate, obviously need for change, improvement, all those kind of things. If we could just remember those key goals that you talk about. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, you're in the office with Joseph Skoda, and today's been a special day. Spent the day of the weekend in Las Vegas and meeting some new people, new talent, new inspiration, motivation, purpose of life. And that's what it's all about. What purpose do you have? What do you want to fulfill in your dreams? How do you want to be remembered? Think about it. You're in office with Joseph Skoda. Have a great day. If you liked our show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or find us on any social media platform, Instagram, of course, Facebook. Like, subscribe, share. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts and join our team. Anyways, we appreciate you staying tuned week after week, day after day, because we continuously build up our network to bring to you what you're asking for. Have a great day.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York, so his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on a vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provide.
As we continue to grow and build a brand, social media shows continue to develop and discover new possibilities to help one another. Our affordable services will help us move to the next level of our journey. Host your own show to inspire or entertain others for as low as $150 per month.
You have 20 shows a week, live stream.
We are looking for sponsors. We showcase your business products and services on our network to be seen by your target market for as low as $200 a month.
That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations.
Let us promote and advertise your event, giving your venue the red carpet treatment. This platform allows venues that feature entertainment, singers, bands, DJs, comedy, fashion, corporate events, and family events to be showcased in a new direction that also involves your audiences. Starts at $200 an hour. We also provides video editing, website builder, commercial video for your business, music videos, photography, provided by our affiliates. As we build our community, we pay it forward. Our nonprofit organization GI Connections is all about giving back to our community. Join us create outreach programs to help our community and live a happy, peaceful, and unity. Let us bring the world to you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now.